He's cool. He's calm. He's catastrophic. He's KO. Rah! Ooh! And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have this. Guys, I'm going to be honest. Last time around, maybe I was a bit too harsh on Dhoni. I don't think that we're at this point where we can blame him. Yes, should he probably have retired by now, and perhaps he would have been more useful as a mentor for the team. That I do agree with. You know, you don't wait till your career. I mean, what is he going to be remembered like after this IPL, right? Because people are going to look at something somewhere to blame. But I will tell you what the issue is for me when it comes to CSK. Their home ground is a place like Chepauk. Nobody seems to be able to play quality spinners. We saw today Kuldeep, Akshar, Nigam. They were all over the CSK batters. Now, I know 180 is a tough score, especially during the day, because, in day conditions, it's a red soil as well. It's just going to get slower and slower. But at that point in time, you need guys who can comfortably play spin, get those twos, get the odd boundary here or there, proper sweepers of a cricket ball. And that's my thing. I think where you also look at the Dhoni side of things is that, they've become complacent. They've been like, well, we don't really need to get this player or that player because we've got Dhoni and that's the most marketable thing in the IPL. So why? It's just the squad, the team selection for me when it comes to CSK, it baffles my mind, if I'm being honest, because I don't think there's any player in there who's good against spin. We saw it today. Again, they were exposed. So, I don't know, massive uphill for CSK from here, I think. In terms of DC, it doesn't really matter what players come in where. It seems that they've got everything just kind of figured out, worked out. Now, again, I just mentioned complacency. I don't think DC can afford to become complacent. We've seen it too often in these kinds of tournaments where teams start off really well and then eventually they fall off the wagon. The Jake Fraser-McGurk thing for me is still a massive question mark. It really isn't. The thing is, this isn't coming from me. This was coming from Adam Gilchrist even before the tournament, where he was like, 4 or 5 games in the IPL, if you don't perform, you should be out. If you think about the openers that we've got in the DC lineup, we've Abhishek Patel now today. We've got KL Rahul. Okay, Faf apparently didn't play today. I'm still not sure why. But there are a number of openers that could fill that spot. It's no problem. I'm still waiting for the replacement. I'm still wanting it to be Dewald Brevis. Whether that's bias of me and, very South African of me. I saw the fielding coach or somebody, he was speaking in a South African accent. So why not bring all the Safas in? I'm gonna be very happy about that. I'm waiting for the replacement of Harry Brook. But today, Abhishek Patel, KL Rahul, a right-left-hand combo. I just think, why the hell is that not the decision from the start? You saw how the CSK bowlers struggled against them. Also, if you have a look at this, right, it's almost as if the CSK bowlers don't even know their own pitch. You look at where these balls have been bowled. On a slow pitch like that, you bowl that many balls on length, short, slower ball. Some of these lads, right, some of these players in the DC side, they're quite tall guys, they're quite strong guys. They just wait on the back foot and they put that ball away. I mean, the planning from CSK was just absolutely nowhere today. But back to the opening spot, I mean, I would prefer it if it's Perel who played with class today, not just power. I think he's a very inventive batter, right? And you kind of like that. And then you bring Faf maybe back in, although KO opening today, like I just said, I mean, that was just an absolute class act by the K-man, KL Rahul. But again, today they brought in Akshar Patel before Stubbs, because why 2 left-arm spinners bowling? All right, you've had Jadeja and Noor Ahmed. Again, we saw the other day RCB, the plan was to take on the CSK spinners. DC did that today as well. So now it's kind of like, what is CSK's trump card? They don't have it. They don't have it anymore. And so, yes, Akshar, he didn't stay there for long, but he did his job. And that was the thing today for DC, is that the entire team, they played as a team. They all came in, they did their job. Stubbs came in, scored a quick couple of runs. Perel, he got the run rate going in the power play, which is very important on slow pitches, you know, that power play stage. I thought everybody batted extremely well. I thought the bowlers, look, Mitch Starc, Yorker, in the power play, you take that review. I don't give a crap whether it's out or not. If Mitch Starc bowls a Yorker, toe crusher like that, you take the review. And from now on, I do think KL Rahul should be the wicketkeeper. But yeah, it was. I'm happy. We're table toppers. We deserve to be there. I do think this is why when I look at retentions of the IPL, it always blows my mind. When I'm looking at teams and I'm like, you didn't retain any of your bowlers. Like, I will always, always, always retain bowlers. So this is another thing though. We see this in Test cricket in India, where the focus is a hell of a lot more on batting, but not that much on bowling. Yes, you've got the Bumrah. I still think Arshdeep Singh should be playing Test cricket, but I just feel like sometimes in this league, there's too much of a focus on the batting and not enough on the bowling. And I'm talking about, it's the Indian Premier League. I think India in general is perhaps a little bit too much focused on batting instead of bowling. But what a match. Dominating performance by the men from Delhi. What were your thoughts?